What's up, everybody? Welcome to the No Scrubs Allowed podcast. As you can tell, if you're listening right away, it is Tuesday instead of Monday. We forgot to tell you guys last week, but we are going to be shifting to coming out on Tuesdays instead of Mondays, which is great for a lot of reasons. Obviously, Monday Night Football happens on Monday, and that's when the end of the week is. But we have a lot of reasons for moving. But Steele, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. Doing okay. You don't want to hear it.
Well, what I also don't want to hear, and we'll talk about it a little later, but I decided to wear my Kobe pendant because the Black Mamba spirit is watching over the Lakers, and I have to remind myself that this is the only year I am fine with the Lakers winning the championship, because as a Suns fan, I'm already not a Lakers fan. So I was just telling them, as a Suns fan, I'm already not a Lakers fan, and you guys all know that I'm not a LeBron fan, but because of Kobe, I can let them win this year, and it looks like that's going to be the case. You know what? Let's start out with basketball. Why not? You're still not fine with them winning?
I was liking everything you were saying until that statement. No, I don't want them to win.
I don't want them to win, but when they win, I'm going to say Kobe won. Kobe won this thing, and
that's how I kind of am with the Cowboys now. When the Cowboys win, I'm just like, all right,
yeah,
let's go and see Stein pull some strings.
So
talk about that too later. Whew.
Yeah, so game 2 happened yesterday. There was no games on Monday night because they wanted to even up the Western and the Eastern series for, I guess, scheduling purposes. But if one doesn't last as long as the other one, it doesn't matter. But whatever. So the Lakers and Nuggets played. LeBron went off. He had like 24 points in the first half. They were killing the Nuggets. And then the Nuggets did what the Nuggets do. They came storming all the way back. Jokic had a weird little mini hook shot that he's really grown accustomed to. He's really good at those now. And put them ahead with like 8 seconds left. They made a perfect defensive possession, batted the ball out of bounds with about 1.7, 1.8 points left. LeBron had, I think, 2 points in the second half, a few assists. And then the reason he wanted Anthony Davis to come to the Lakers, he needed that number 2. Anthony Davis hit an amazing shot. Did you, and I know you were working, but did you at least get to watch that last sequence and how all that went down?
I've seen that sequence 1,000 times. And great shot. That was a really good clutch shot. I mean, everybody said, oh, he was wide open. But put a lot of people there in that situation at the end of a game. It was a huge, great shot. Why Mason Plumlee tried to go under the screen?
Why was Mason Plumlee out there? And if he's the guy that's out there, why isn't he guarding the guy passing it in? Because Rondo's not getting the ball back. There's not enough time for him to get the ball back. And I know get a tall person on him. That's why Jokic is on him. But Plumlee's just as tall. If he's going to be out there, he's a lumbering idiot. And he's not intelligent like Jokic is. Jokic would have probably been able to do that.
Yeah, I have no idea. And LeBron didn't even really try to rub him that much at all. And
I think LeBron wanted the ball. That's what Anthony Davis said. Anthony Davis said after the game that the play was drawn up for LeBron. So LeBron wanted the ball anyway. So he wasn't trying to rub. He wasn't really trying to do anything. He was trying to get open. And Plumlee, Jeremy Grant should have been on him. And I know that Jeremy Grant is not tall enough to contest an AD shot. But with that sort of time and situation, he would have been on top of him. And that's probably enough. So.
Yeah, anything is better than what transpired and happened on defense.
But props to AD, though. That shot was huge. So now the Lakers are up 2-0 instead of 1-1. But now it's going back to Denver. The series is going back to Denver. Yeah, no, we're still in the bubble. It's still in Orlando, but Denver will be home team. But how many times can Denver put their backs against the wall? What do you think is going to happen? Do you think Mike Malone will have taken something from that second half comeback and realize, okay, this is a way we can maybe shut down LeBron, a way we can do whatever? Or do you think that was just them doing what they do and always coming back and nothing's changed?
No, I think they were able to sustain something this time, and instead of kind of fighting back the first 2 games and nothing really coming of it, or the first game, they were actually able to sustain something and get a good bit of momentum going, and they hung on to it, which hadn't happened yet. And I think they'll be able to learn from it. Hopefully, Mike Malone will learn from it, and they'll be able to figure something out and get at least 1 or 2 wins out of this.
Yeah, and hopefully Murray will play better. I mean, he played okay down the stretch when they really needed him to try to win, but he didn't really. I don't know his points because apparently NBA.com doesn't have just like box scores that you can easily get to. But anyways, but I know that he wasn't playing well. He was missing a lot of shots. Oh, here we go. So yeah, he was 8 for 19. So he's going to have to shoot better than that. Of course, he shot a lot of free throws. He ended up with 25 points. That's not bad, but you
5
have to shoot
turnovers.
better. Yeah, you have to shoot better than I think they had like 19 turnovers as a team. That's not going to cut it. That
Yeah.
can't happen. Yeah, 19 turnovers as a team. That's not okay. That can't happen. But they do seem to get better as series go along. Obviously, they've come back from down 3-1 twice now. So Mike Malone is good. He's good at doing these adjustments, getting his team to get better. Murray has that irrational confidence, which is turning into rational confidence, I guess. But he is never scared. And it looks like PJ Dozier is never scared, which might be a bad thing. But he looked pretty good in the game. But this isn't Doc Rivers. No knock on Doc Rivers. He's a champ. But this isn't Doc Rivers. This isn't Quinn Snyder. This is Frank Vogel, who, I mean, I guess technically he's not a champ, but I think he's a better coach, at least now at this point in his career. Do you think Michael Malone can really get this? Or did you, like you said earlier, maybe hopefully a couple games they can skip?
There's no way they'll be able to. They just don't have enough to be able to go up against LeBron and AD. They have enough to go up against LeBron and Caruso and Kuzma, or AD, Caruso and Kuzma and the squad, but not both of them. They just maybe next year or 2 years from now, when Jamal has another couple years and Porter's learned the way of the league and gets his bearings together, because he's going to be a superstar as well. Maybe next year they'd be able to, but I don't think that there's any way that they'll be able to come back. Even if I don't think that they would win this series 4-2. There's just and there's damn sure no the way that they would come back from 3-1 against this Laker team.
Right. Well, this game really hurt me as a Laker and LeBron hater, because game one, Dwight Howard went off. And you could sit there and you could say, all right, Dwight Howard's not going to go off every game. This is easy money. This game, their third highest scorer had 11 points. So nobody else went off. This was all LeBron and AD, and this is the kind of thing where you say, crap, like LeBron and AD, which we all knew, but they're better than Murray and Jokic. That, like, if you just put the four best people out of there on the court, their two is better than the Nuggets two. So that sucks. But let's talk about the East a little bit. The East looks like it's going to be a little bit more of a game or a series. Gordon Hayward came back. Boston Celtics looked good and didn't give up their lead for a change. This is pretty awesome. I saw that I think they've played nine games, maybe 11 games now, something. But I think they've played 11 games in the postseason, and they've been ahead by 10 points or more in 9 of the 11 games.
And
so
the Celtics?
So the Celtics know how to go on runs. They know how to get these leads. And now with Gordon Hayward, not that Gordon Hayward played amazingly well, but that's a new body that actually understands basketball a little bit more, because the minutes he took were Semi Ojeley's, who is either a rookie or second year, but not good enough to do anything. So now they actually have a chance against this Heat squad that looked unbeatable.
Yeah, the one thing that I'm more eager to see is who benefits from this 3-day rest that nobody seems to have had this whole bubble. Nobody's had more than 2 days. The whole Jamal Murray figuring out that he was playing 2 days from whenever they clinched against the Utah,
right,
and how devastated he was from that. And just to see how important that extra day really is, even though, like we pointed out either last week or the week before, you're not really doing much in the bubble. You don't have those extracurricular activities. Now you do have your family. Some of them do. A lot of them are still in that Mamba mentality and don't have any of their family members or friends with them. But so there's maybe a little bit of that extra outer world sinking in. but you still don't have the travel home that's usually a good hour and a half outside of the city for most of these guys, and all that stuff that corresponds with just life every day for them. And they don't really have that right now, but it's still very important to have that extra day of rest. And I think that's probably more so going to benefit the Heat, and not more so for the rest, but an extra day to plan, an extra day to get ready and gear in what Eric Spoelstra wants to do. And instead of it just having a day to prepare and then going in the next day to try to do it, now they have a couple of days to kind of knock in the game plan and get it going. And that's scary to me more so than Brad Stevens.
But are they really going to change their game plan at this point? I mean, their game plan has worked pretty good. I think the rest is going to help them because they have the three-point shooters. And we know that three-point shooting tends to get you more tired, at least your legs, throughout the long season or the long postseason than the dunks and layups do. So these Tyler Heroes and Duncan Robinsons are going to get a rest and be able to probably come out stroking in game 4.
Yeah, just extra help them trying to figure out how the hell they're going to be able to contain Jason Tatum. And then when they figure out how to contain him, how are they going to contain one of the other 3 guys that can go out there and score 40 points? And Marcus Smart, Jason Tate, or
Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown, and then whoever the freaking else wants to do
and
it.
And if Kemba decides to wake up.
Wanamaker can do it too. It's crazy. And, dude, I said last week Kemba's coming out, and really, nope, it was just fluke Kemba.
Yeah, he's back to the Kemba that he's been. Whether he's hurt, whether he's inexperienced in the playoffs, I don't know, but he's not having it, not doing it.
For sure. But, yeah, I think after – and we're pretty much about halfway through these series now.
Right, yeah.
Unfortunately for the Nuggets, probably about halfway through that series as well. And I think it's going to be Lakers Heat at the end of it. And I feel like the NBA is wanting a Lakers Celtics just because that'll help out money-wise more. Just that'll draw in more people just because it's Lakers Celtics.
Right.
And beat LA and all that stuff.
But LeBron, of course, LeBron has storylines with everybody at this point.
Yeah. So. Oh, yeah, and he has storylines with the Celtics for being a Cav and being a Heat.
That's why they're mad that the Nuggets beat the Clippers, because then he would have had storylines left, right, and center. It would have been crazy.
And that'll also be cool for him to return to Airlines Arena. And, they're in the bubble. But I just feel like that's what it's going to be, and it's going to be a hell of a series. And I don't know. I hope the Heat come out on top. And I'll never say that ever again in my life.
I hope that I wanted the Nuggets to win just because the Nuggets are the only team I really couldn't care less about. But of the other 3, I want the bubble to burst somehow. And there to be no championship.
Not COVID. Not because of COVID.
Not because of COVID. They just get tired of it. They're like, you know what? We're over it. We're good. Nobody gets a championship. Obviously, that's not going to happen. But I don't want to see any of those teams get it. If it's the Heat and if anybody but LeBron, so I would definitely cheer for the Heat or I would cheer for the Celtics. But again, if the Lakers win, I'm still not saying it's LeBron, it's Kobe, it's AD, it's the others, it's Caruso.
Shout out to AD for yelling out Kobe whenever he made that shot.
Well, he even said we don't want to lose in these jerseys at all, and the fact that they are so honed in on the Kobe, it's just one of those stories, man. That happens in sports. I don't know how it is, but you see owners die, you see longtime coaches die, you see things like that, and these teams get inspired. They really do. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, so. It's awesome. Real quick, I just saw on our little thing.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely did the short end of the stick. It says 2 mile, 8K, 24K.
I did both, remember?
Oh, you did?
Well, I did the 24K on my bike. I wasn't going to run that. But yeah, I did the 2 mile, I'm going to say jog, but even that's being generous. And then I did 24K on a bike.
I walked twice, but I would not say I jogged. I Kobe'd that shit. I was dead for a week off of 2 miles. But yeah, I'm just looking
the pace was the jogging pace was my.
Can you imagine how many people out there are like, Kobe run 2 miles, wake up the next day, do the 4K or the 8K, wake up the next day, do the 24K.
Well, you're supposed to pick one. You weren't supposed to do all three of them.
No.
But I think the 2 miles is supposed to be for like kids, like Gigi, obviously, like the people doing it for Gigi, that age group, and then the rest were supposed to be.
Yeah.
But hey, as Kobe said, the most important thing is to try and inspire people so that they can be great at whatever they want to do. So that's all we were trying to do. And he inspired us. So let's, before we take our break, I don't want to split up the NFL. So let's talk a little bit about baseball. Baseball's down to the end. I know baseball was over for you quite some time ago. But it's getting down to the end, and it's looking like it. Did they do this bubble thing? Have you seen? They agreed on a 4 bubble system. Have you seen this?
I purposely have not paid attention to baseball in the last 3 weeks.
So they're doing LA. They said it's going to be the top 4 teams, but they're not going to host. But then they also said that it's going to be Houston and Arlington, which are not, obviously the Rangers aren't the top team. So they said the AL are going to play in Los Angeles and San Diego, and the NL are going to play in Houston and Arlington, Dallas, Texas Rangers Stadium.
Well, so fuck Florida, huh?
Well, yeah. So, but I don't even I don't understand. So the initial first round was going to be a 3-game series, all 3 games at the home team's park, so that they could still have home field advantage. Now,
this is playoffs.
Yeah, the playoffs.
Oh shit!
Now they can't do it. They're going to do a 3-game series. Let's say the Dodgers get the first seed in the NL, which is most likely about to happen in a couple days. They would be playing in Texas at the Texas Ranger Stadium in a 3-game series against somebody. That's not fair.
And
there's no
also
thing there.
Are they all going to be? So there's what? There'd be 4 games in each, or no, 3. No, 4. No, 3. Right? 2 and then the wild card.
There's 3 wild card teams now, I think.
Holy fuck.
So only the first team gets a bye, I'm pretty sure.
No, but what I'm trying to get to is we're going to have potentially 3 or 4 games and every 2 days.
No, so 8 teams make the playoffs. So there's going to be it's 8 teams from each side making the playoffs.
So we're going to have 4 games on one field.
No. There's 4 spots. So there's 2 games on one field.
Oh, there's 8 teams in the playoffs this year.
8 from each side.
Yeah, so there's 4 games going to be played in Texas and 4 games going to be played.
Oh, yeah. But there's 2 stadiums in Texas and 2 stadiums in California.
Oh, they're going to do the Padres and the Giants?
No, the Dodgers Stadium and Padres Stadium, and then the Astros Stadium and the Rangers Stadium. What?
Is that close to each other? I figured that the A's and the Giants would be closer.
But they're not going to go back and forth. They're going to – so, the Dodgers series will be at Ranger Stadium. The White Sox and whoever – or no, I guess whatever team the NL is, the Cubs. I don't think the Cubs made it. But they would be playing in Houston's ballpark for their entire thing. And then the next round, they would come up to Texas or up to Arlington to play in Rangers. It's crazy. I don't understand it. But it sucks because – we're not going to have home field advantage again. We're the best team in baseball. It's ridiculous, and it's going to continue to be ridiculous. So
that is crazy, and I wonder how they chose these because ballparks. I mean, anybody would love if they would have chose New York as a sighting.
Well, New York's not going to be obviously, but they. I don't know why they chose it. I'm glad. I was happy because I saw Dodger Stadium was going to be it. And I was like, heck yeah, the Dodgers can get a home field the whole way through like they should because they're the number 1 seed. And then they said, oh, but that's going to be where the AL plays. The NL is going to play in Texas. So I don't know. I don't know if anything new came from it. I just saw the ESPN blurb a few days ago saying the those were the sights. And I was just like, what in the world? But either way, the Dodgers are rolling. We have a 70%, like a 70 win percentage, which is crazy. We're on record pace, but obviously it's a 60-game season. But this could be the best Dodgers team. And I know we say that every single year because every single year we're the best team in the National League. But this year we have a potential MVP in Mookie Betts, which I know you like to hear. We have Kershaw, because it's a shortened season, looks a lot better. I think he's 6-1. He's able to do stuff. Our problem is Kenley Jansen is not good. He hasn't been good for a couple years. He blows saves. It's bad. It's not.
You look so sad talking about it.
I'm scared. I'm scared already because the playoffs are closer games, and I can't trust my closer, and that's going to be a problem.
Why don't you? How did I forget his name? It started with a K. Our closer.
Kimbrel?
Yes.
I don't know.
Why don't you go get Craig Kimbrel?
They have
I think he's on the Indians now, I believe.
Every day on Dodgers.com, they said that all the way up until signing period was over that we should get Kimbrel. We should get Kimbrel. We should get Kimbrel. From the offseason until the last day we were able to, the Dodger.com said that.
Oh, look at me being an expert.
Our front office decided, no, we're fine with Jansen. We love Jansen. Doc is just in love with Jansen. And I love that Dave Roberts is a player's coach. I really do, or manager, I guess you call him in baseball. I love that, but you got to win a chip, man. You can't just have the players. What I hope he does, and this is weird saying because I hated him for a long time, I hope he leans on Joe Kelly and says, listen, man, you can do this. Joe Kelly is the guy. He's back. He's pitching well. He's served his suspension. He's doing good. So hopefully he gets to be the guy. That'd be nice.
I love Joe Kelly. He's a savage. And I want home dudes free Joe cleats. Trevor Bauer, I want his free Joe cleats.
Yeah.
I think they're awesome. Even though he looked kind of like a Simpsons character with the whole big old bottom lip.
Yeah. So it's crazy, man. But we're going to be the top team. The only other team with a chance is San Diego, and we just stole 2 out of 3 from them. So we're like 4 games ahead with 6 games left or something like that. So,
and there's really no big powerhouse really in the AL that's going to come out and really stop you this year. I mean, it's just always your luck that you just end up.
Well, Tampa Bay looks good, man. It's hard to even say. It makes no sense to me. What?
It's Tampa Bay though.
But it makes no sense to me that they're just killing it. They're so
good.
They're
pitching still holding on?
Yeah.
I haven't watched them. I really haven't. I took my updates.
They have really good pitchers, and I was going to pick them up for my fantasy, and Jake, my baseball insider, told me not to. He's like, you never want to rely on the Rays pitching just because of all that weird stuff that they do with pitching where you might not get to start that day even though you pitch 6 innings and all that stuff. So I've avoided them, and they've been awesome. But before we go to break, I want to give a special shout out to this guy. To me, I decided to play a full fantasy baseball season because it wasn't a full year. And I am here, man. I'm in the championship. The championship started today. I got a little bit screwed by bad offenses, but I'm up 5 after the first day. So that's huge. I should be up 25, but like I said, when you get a loss, you lose 5 points. When you get a win, you gain 5 points for your starting pitcher. Jake DeGrom allowed 2 earned runs over 7 1/3 inning and got the loss. So that was a 10-point swing there. And then Wainwright got a loss as well, which he could have easily gotten a win if the Cardinals didn't score 1 run. So that's kind of rough. But, hey, I'm up 5 after day 1. Just got to stay on the grind. Hopefully this time next week I can be holding a championship trophy, but it's a free Yahoo or ESPN or something. So I don't get a championship trophy, but I'll find one.
Free?
What?
It's free?
Yeah. You think I'd put money on fantasy baseball? Get out of here.
I'm glad you didn't. That's not a smart decision. But what is a smart decision, Travis?
Were you trying to set us up?
Yeah.
I thought you were, but the way you said it was so cheesy that I could not even buy into it. So, anyways, yeah. So our partner Manscaped, we're gonna take a break now because that's a smart decision, apparently, says Seal. So our partner Manscaped is here to help us out. To you know what they're here for. You've listened to us. You've used Manscaped. I actually have a Manscaped. I think my shirt's on under this. I went to the store and I
I
had a
thought you were
girl
going to show
hit.
the tattoo.
I had a girl hit on me with the Manscaped shirt on, which was pretty awesome. That's a story for a different day. I don't want to sound like I'm bragging to the pod, but she wasn't very attractive, so it wasn't that cool. But she hit on me and I was like, was it the Manscaped? I think it's the Manscaped. So you should work on Manscaped because they are here. They give all your grooming needs, man. They have them under control. So take your grooming game to the next level with Manscaped.
Yeah, for sure. I love that line. Take your grooming to the next level with Manscaped. It's great.
I don't
But
even
yeah.
think they said that. That's just me.
Oh, really?
They do the like best tools for your family jewels line or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Well, good job, Trevi. You're the shit. And also, the Perfect Package 3.0 is the shit. The clippers are the shit. They are waterproof. You can
They
soak
are.
them in water.
We have proven.
They will work. They do not cut your skin. They will not cut your balls. I have saggy balls. They did not cut them. They are absolutely perfect. They do not take forever to charge. I still am in the habit of just putting it on the charger before I go to sleep because most chargers.
Well, I mean, I charged it during our pod.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Ago, so
that's when I realized and I looked it up. It's a 2-hour charge on those
Yeah.
things, and most are 6 to 8 hours usually on most of the
Right.
handheld shaving utensils that are offered out there. But no, this is a 2-hour charge, and you don't have to plug it in and kind of lay it down. You plug a dock in, and you just set that thing on there, and it charges and stands there and looks all pretty, and it's on you to put it on your balls one more time, go again. And there's a little light. If you're like my apartment where you have to have lamps everywhere.
Or my apartment where I refuse to put lamps anywhere.
You don't have any real lighting. That LED light really does come in handy when you're trying to get through the cracks and crevices of your balls.
Absolutely, dude. And the Perfect Package 3.0 doesn't just come with the Lawnmower 3.0. The Lawnmower 3.0 is great, and if you want to get it by yourself or by itself, that's awesome. But the Perfect Package is worth it because it also comes with things we have just said exhaustively on this, but the Crop Preserver and the Crop Reviver, two things that are just the perfect additions to shaving. The Crop Preserver, you throw that bad boy on there, it's like a cream. It lasts throughout the day. It's really great. But anytime you feel like you're lacking just a little bit, the Crop Reviver is the little spritzer. You spray it on there. It does the active pH balancing to really just fix it, get it doing whatever it does, and gets you back on top of your game.
Yeah, that's it. Everything. I don't know why we should just say Manscaped, go. Here's our promo code. Stop listening to us because everything is absolutely amazing. And I can't say it enough. Everything that you put down there as far as the crop mops, the crop preserve, everything has that pH balance, which other half, your ladies, is really going to love and notice and point out, because I guess their magical place is not always for our magical swords, and the mop and the preserve really helps out with that pH balance that women really care about and their bodies care about too. And that's probably the biggest thing for me, other than the Lawnmower 3.0 being so awesome.
Yeah, being healthy is huge. Or like the way they get it to do that is it's science that's well above my head, man. It's crazy, but
I never even thought about that until it was told to me that, whoa, these things are pH balanced. That's awesome. These things are awesome. They're great. You need to keep buying these. So
absolutely. And if that's not enough, if you need more, you don't need more, but we're going to give you more. If you use our code NOSCRUBS, all one word, at manscaped.com, you get 20% off and free shipping. If you use that code to buy the Perfect Package, you still get those boxer briefs and the really awesome travel bag. I took the travel bag with us to Vegas. It fit everything, man. It fit that along with sunscreen, along with like chapstick and deodorant and all the other stuff you need for the bathroom. So
You love chapstick, dude.
I don't love chapstick. You live in a humid state. I don't. So I need
Okay.
chapstick.
I learned.
So
I
yeah,
learned.
you learned it. It's pretty bad. I never used chapstick in Florida, but I don't think Manscaped has chapstick. So we're gonna keep going. You get 20% off and free shipping with our code No Scrubs at manscaped.com. So do that. Use the code and take your grooming game to the next level.
While we're talking about that, whenever we were in Vegas, I had a lot of dryness going on in my leg area, and it would just cause some weird eczema dot-looking stuff. And I
Mm-hmm.
was putting lotion on the first couple nights, and it kind of helped and all that stuff. It made it feel a little better. But on the third day, something just told my brain to use the crop preserve stuff on it, and it felt absolutely amazing. It didn't burn like the lotion did. I don't know what's in the lotion that was causing the burning, if it was a scent or something like that. But it felt great, and I used it for the next 3 or 4 days until it cleared up, and it literally took 3 days for it to clear up, and I had it for about 5 days before that.
I think Manscaped has a lotion too. I don't have it, but I think they have a lotion.
I'm going to get that shit right.
I think
Dude,
they do.
Their crop preserve worked out really, really, really well on my dry ass legs.
They have a body wash. I use it. It's awesome. It does the same thing. I mean, it moisturizes your skin. It's really great because living in California is dry, bro. Especially not right on the coast, so it sucks. But yeah.
Hey,
so we're gonna talk a little bit about the NFL now, and
yeah, I like your jersey.
And I can sport this. I sported it last week, of course, Tampa Bay, but I can sport a little bit happier this week because we won. We looked a little bit more like ourselves, and it was awesome. We were playing an easier team, which is one thing, of course, but we looked like we're starting to round into form. Less penalties, which is always nice, but Brady didn't make as many mistakes. He's not going to make the big throw anymore. That's just not his game. He only threw for 217 yards, whereas Teddy Two Gloves over on the other side threw for 367. But what?
Teddy Two Gloves.
He wears two gloves. Most quarterbacks don't wear a glove on their throwing hand. Teddy wears both. Teddy Bridgewater. So Tom's not going to be that guy anymore. And there's arguments which we've had on the pod. We've had numerous times off the pod. If the Tom Brady type quarterback can beat the Mahomes, can beat the Lamar Jacksons, Russell Wilson kind of guys anymore. But that's not the case, or that's not what we need to worry about right now. He's the GOAT, but he's getting everybody else involved. And one of those pieces, Seal, again, I'm sorry, but it's Leonard Fournette. He carried the ball 12 times for 103 yards and 2 touchdowns, including a 46-yard sealer. They really put the game away when Carolina was itching to come back. And then, of course, we had Mike Evans go over 100 yards, get a touchdown, so he's kind of back. Everyone looked like they were better. And then, of course, number 45, Devin White, led the defense as he was expected to do this year. He had 11 tackles on his own, solo tackles, which is just huge, but led the whole team with 15 tackles. So it's already rounding into form. It's just the second week, and again, against an easier opponent, especially after McCaffrey went out. But that's what I'm expecting. We're gonna start to climb up and look a little bit better every single week. And we got lucky because New Orleans lost a very big winnable game tonight. So
for sure, you guys are tied for first. Unfortunately, something the Jaguars aren't. We lost yesterday, but a mood that I share with at least one fellow Jaguar fan I found out today is I'm very happy. I don't think I've ever been as excited after a loss, especially to the fuck-ass Titans in my life. Excuse my language, but I cannot stand the Titans or their fans. So for it to be to them the way it happened at the end, it sucks. It really sucks. But our young guns are really balling. We're the youngest team in the NFL. We got rid of your guy, Leonard Fournette, and everybody just – it seemed to boggle everybody's mind. It boggled my mind. He's under a contract year. They said they tried to trade him. They couldn't get any trade offers, so nobody else wants him, which kind of boggled my mind even more. But
right.
For us just to give him up, literally give up on this guy, it really made me scratch my head. But this young rookie, James Robinson, that I heard a lot about in camp, I thought it was Akubagu, but no, it wasn't him. He's still injured and hurt. But it was this cat that they were talking about, this rookie dude. And James Robinson, he had a lot – I need to look, I guess. 16 carries, 102 yards with a touchdown, and he had 4 targets for 3 yards and 18
Nice.
reception yards. So they try to get him on both sides. Chris Thompson, he showed up a little bit, didn't show up. He got a couple of carries. They try to get him in the passing game a little bit. But I feel like he's just a little bit over the hill, and with his injuries, he's not even 75% of what Chris Thompson was for the Redskins about, 3 years ago?
Yeah.
So that for this kid to come and do what he's done is absolutely amazing. Gardner Minshew keeps the Minshew mania alive, man. He has been absolutely insane, setting records all over the place. He did have 15 incompletions this week, so he's not able to go up.
And
with
he had
Russell
an
Westbrook.
interception, right? Which sucks. But
we'll talk about that play in a couple minutes. Dude, yeah. But the whole game, it was awesome. It was absolutely amazing to see. We went down 7-0, came back and answered it. They ended up going up 21-7. We came back 14-21. Scobie, whoa. Scobie, R.I.P. Not R.I.P. He's just not the kicker.
Retire in peace, bro.
But the other Josh, Lambo, that's my guy. He missed an extra point. It was an extra point, I think. He missed the extra point, so it was 13-21. So we're down by 9. And then, no, we're down by 8, which is a score. Scored a 2-point conversion. Going into half, not a big deal. Well, Lambo comes out, and I guess he wanted to squib it, but he totally doinked it up and kicked it right to the Titans player 8 yards away. So they got great field position. Ended up getting 3 points out of it. We almost had them still to punt the ball, but a stupid pass interference call totally wiped that away. So they get 3 points, go in down 11, and we come back, tie it up 30 near the end of the game. They get a stupid third down. I forget who was running on the crossing route, but Miles Jack's running with them. And like every other defensive back, linebacker, anybody in coverage, they had the
one arm around the back.
But the rule that came out last year, that's fine. As long as you do not impede the route or the runner's ability to catch the ball with that hand, you're good. He was just holding him. He was just giving him a little love on a little bit of his love handle. He wasn't tugging. He wasn't pulling. There was no pull of the jersey or nothing. Call the flag.
Yeah, so it's tough for that now with that stupid rule because now it's a judgment call because they say like you can't change the direction of the runner or anything like that. How do you know? How can you tell? It's almost like flops in basketball at this point. If a wide receiver feels a touch, he can just kind of turn his body and get an easy foul now. So
and in the replay, the guy wasn't even smart enough to do that. And Miles Jack had a hell of a pass deflection to get fourth down, but the flag came out. They ended up getting 3 points. So 33-30 now. We get going down, driving. I think we were on like the 38-yard line, 2nd and 2. Jadeveon Clowney is hella offsides. I sent you the picture.
You did.
It's not photoshopped or anything. He's a good.
Was he jumping or was he just there?
No, he was there. That was his stance. He lined up.
That's the Titans, man.
Dude,
they're lining up offsides.
Dude, a good foot and a half in the neutral zone, which is a good half a foot on the football.
Right.
How it didn't get called, it absolutely insane. But Gardner Minshew threw the interception and went on to nil the game away, and we lost by 3 points. But, man, other than the bullshit and the refs giving the game to the Titans, we still could have ended up not winning, Even without that interception, if they would have called the flag on Jadeveon, we get the first down from the offsides or encouragement or whatever they would have called. That would have been a first down either way because it was 2nd and short. And who knows? Maybe we would have fumbled it. Maybe they would have held us and time expired. But for it to end like that, you can't really be too mad at the team for that, but you just have to fucking hate that it's the Titans.
Well,
so I'm excited.
You guys I picked you, by the way, and I won with it because I chose off the spread, and you guys were 10.5-point underdogs. So when you were down 21-7, I was so mad. I was like, the Jags are going to screw up my pick. Well, sorry, I didn't win it. I won your pick. I ended up losing on the Bills, so it was 5 teams all off the spread, right? I picked the Bengals to cover the spread, the Giants to cover the spread, you guys to cover the spread, the Bills – or to beat the spread, sorry, because you guys were all underdogs. the
Yeah.
Bills to cover the spread, and then the Ravens to cover the spread. Everybody that was supposed to beat the spread did it. They all lost, but they all lost close enough. The Bills were 5.5, right? So we were
Oh my gosh.
they were up 3, and I was like, well, it's over. They go down, they score a touchdown off this crazy, which it really looked like the Dolphins were letting them score. It's the Dolphins, right? They were playing, letting them score just so that they could get the ball back. So I was like, yes, they did it. They beat the spread, and then the Dolphins scored a garbage time touchdown. So they ended up winning by 3 or 4 or whatever it was. So
yeah, that's crazy. But I'm excited. Offense is great. Our defense with Miles Jack and Joe Schobert looks lights out. And CJ Henderson had a rough game, but yeah, he'll bounce back.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and make some too early predictions here and try to get in the podcast in kind of a fun way where we get to be wrong more often than we get to be right. But we're going to look through the divisions and just kind of see and predict the division winner. We're not making Super Bowl picks yet. We're not that predictive yet, but let's look at some divisions. So we'll start just at the bottom of my list here. The AFC East, you got the Bills now at 2-0. Pretty crazy. They're actually looking pretty good. Josh Allen's looking good. The Patriots lost a tough one, so they're 1-1, and then the 2 other teams that nobody cares about, the Jets and Dolphins, are both 0-2. So I'll go first on this one because the next division up is your division. So the Bills look good, man. The Josh Allen looks great. The team is good. Gabe Davis got his first NFL touchdown. UCF, let's go. Got his first touchdown this game, and really it was the sealer. But I still think it's the Patriots' division to lose until it's not the Patriots' division to lose. And they lost to a great team, whereas Russell Wilson looks like he's gunning for the MVP, and they only lost because Josh McRoberts or whatever the heck their offensive coordinator's name is, drew up, let's just run Cam directly into the defensive line to the left so he can't even throw if he wants to, instead of running to his throwing hand and giving him the option to do a jump pass. So they barely lost that game. So I'm giving it to the Patriots. So what's your pick for this division?
I used to got to give it to the Patriots until the Bills show that they can make it 16 weeks and win a game in the playoffs if they get the wild card. But you can't not. What you've seen out of the Patriots doing what they did with the Seahawks, it's still the Patriots to lose.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, the Bills have beaten the Jets and the Dolphins. So that's not too confidence-inducing. But now we're going to move on to the AFC South. We got Tennessee at 2-0, Jacksonville at 1-1, and then the Colts and the Texans both looking – or no, the Colts are actually 1-1 as well because they won against a really, really crappy Vikings team, which we'll talk about, I guess, when we get to their division. And then the Texans are 0-2. So it's your division still, so you get to go first. Are you still leaning towards your Jags, or are you less confident now?
Oh, no, baby, we still got this.
All right.
We're going 15-1. No, I'm kidding. We're not going to go 15-1, but I don't see any reasons why we shouldn't win in this division.
I thought it could be the Colts division, but they have not impressed me at all. Phillip Rivers still – I mean, he had okay numbers, but still looks like Phillip Rivers. So I'm going to give it to Tennessee. Ryan Tannehill, man, I know you hate your division rivals and all that, but since he got the starting job last year, he's looked like a competent quarterback. He's a top half of the league quarterback, I think, and it's pretty surprising.
Yeah, and he really helped them out. We did a great job of shutting down Derrick Henry, and Tannehill showed up and did his thing.
Yeah, so he's really impressing me, but I'm going to have to give it to Tennessee. So we're moving on now. The West has 2 undefeated teams. You got KC and Las Vegas, both undefeated, and then the Chargers are 1-1, and the Denver Broncos are 0-2. So before we make our picks, there is a storyline here that I wanted to talk about because the Chargers played the Chiefs. Justin Herbert got the start because Tyrod Taylor apparently has some freak chest injury or something like 5 minutes before tip-off before coin flip. And Justin Herbert comes out there, and we both predicted – you were much more adamant about it than I was, but we both predicted that Justin Herbert would get a start this year. It's week 2. He got a start, and they say it's unexpected, whatever. And they still say if Tyrod Taylor is 100%, he's going to be the starter moving forward. But Justin Herbert looked good, man. I mean, what did you think about his game?
He really did look great. He didn't have any kind of jitters. He didn't
Right.
have any rust from having such a break of not playing. And whatever all the experts were saying about his Oregon offense not translating into the NFL style of offense, they can all just go shove it now because this man had some dimes out there.
His
And
arm is so good.
he's got balls. His first touchdown was a rushing touchdown.
Yeah.
So he's not afraid to take a licking. We saw that later on in the game when he was running down the sideline, and he got licked and popped right back up. So, I mean, I think this guy is going to be it for the Chargers for a long time to come. Now, I feel like Anthony Lynn is doing what he has to do, or
Right.
is doing what the organization is telling him to do and saying the things that he's saying. But Tyrod's week to week. So he could come back week 4, week 5, maybe. I think next week is for sure going to be Justin's. And by the time Tyrod can come back, I feel like Justin is good enough and he'll show enough that that's already his team.
Well, it's tough to make Kansas City even sweat it. And I know that they didn't have their normal fan base. They didn't have anyone, I think, in Kansas City this week. But they were home, and it's hard to beat Kansas City at home. And well, the Chargers didn't quite beat them because there's a guy named Patrick Mahomes on the other side. And it was an amazing game, but you can't leave. And this is something that Patrick Mahomes entered this realm last year. I don't think he was there 2 years ago. I don't remember that far back, but he has now entered the realm of the Tom Brady's, the Aaron Rodgers, the Russell Wilsons, these guys where you need to not only score to take the lead, but you need to try to run the clock out before you score to take the lead, because when Pat Mahomes comes out there with any amount of time, Pat Mahomes is going to do what needs to be done to win the game. And it took it really took 3 58-yard field goals from Harrison Butker to win it, but still they won. And I'm going to, long story short, give this division to Kansas City once again. What about you?
Same, for sure. But shout out to the Chargers, man, and that all around that whole team, offense, defense, for being able to contain that crazy. I mean, Tyreek had a couple.
And the defense is not what they were supposed to be. Derwin James is out. Joey Bosa got hurt halfway through the game, so crazy.
His little brother's out the whole year.
Yeah. We'll talk about injuries at the end of all this because there were some big ones. So now the last division in the AFC has the reigning MVP Lamar and the Baltimore Ravens at 2-0. Eddie's Steelers, shout out to Eddie. His Steelers are 2-0 as well. The Cleveland Browns got their win against the Bengals, so they're 1-1. And then Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals, who hates losing. He said this might be the first time he's ever lost 2 games in a row in his entire football career because, of course, he went to Ohio State where they always win and then LSU where he caused them to always win. He's going to have to get used to losing, right? I mean,
for sure.
He hates it, but there's the territory that comes with being the number 1 overall pick. You're probably going to lose some games, so it's going to have to get used to it. So what do you see with this division?
I think the Browns are going to be able to pull it together and stun the world, man. No, I'm kidding. The Steelers look good, dude. All around, that team looks really good. That defense looks good. Big Ben looks good. James Conner looks outstanding. But it's kind of it's hard to kind of go against the Steelers in this division, but the Ravens are just so like
they're plus 49 points, by the way, through 2 games.
They're like that brand new Ferrari that you don't even know if it can run, and then you got this old '67 Cutlass that runs like a charm, but man, it's getting old.
Yeah,
like, you don't even know if the car's good, but I gotta go with the Ravens. I don't even know if it's gonna run in the playoffs. We still don't know if that thing runs. But
it's amazing. Tune in next Monday. We'll be recording right after it, but the Ravens take on the Chiefs in Baltimore, so that's going to be the game to watch, obviously. So Monday night on ESPN, check that out. But I got to give it to Baltimore as well. And just Lamar Jackson is continuing to look like he's unstoppable. Everyone said that the reason he dropped down to 30, 31, whatever he dropped to, was because you could game plan against him. Once you figure out what he does, you game plan against him. But it doesn't work. It's not working. It might start to work one day, but right now it's not working. So I'm giving that to Baltimore as well. So now let's shift to the NFC, and we got the NFC least is what a lot of people like to call them over the past couple years here. The NFC East has all 4 teams. What's up?
It's going to be the same this year, it looks like, too.
Yeah. All 4 teams in the NFC East have a negative point differential through 2 games, and the team that's atop is the Washington football team. They're tied with Dallas Cowboys, but for whatever reason, the standings have them on top. But they're 1-1. Dallas is 1-1, and then Philly and New York is 0-2. So before we get to the predictions real quick, let's talk about the Dallas game. Let's talk a little bit about just they had a real shot at being 0-2. I mean, a real shot. They were down, I believe it was like 16 points or 18 points or something with 7.5 minutes to go in the game. And they had a 2% chance of winning is what Red Zone told me at the time. And then Red Zone kept it on there the whole time because they were really the only game still going that was close. And you couldn't believe it. And if it was anybody other than the Atlanta Falcons, you wouldn't believe it. But, of course, the Atlanta Falcons have done that before. But what is there to say about that Cowboys win? Is this just a fluke, man, or is this them able to turn it around? Because Dak looked great. I mean, Dak played amazing. So was it just a weird thing where they probably were the better team, but the way they had to come about it was just rough, or did they just get a fluke victory?
I don't – it's hard to say because that defense was able to finally get stops, and that offense was finally able to string something together. And it just – how long is it going to take that offense to be together? And they have one of the best offensive lines. I mean, I know they took in a couple hits in the last couple of years,
Right.
but they still have one of the best offensive lines in the league. Like, when is that offense going to be able to finally put it together and come together? And on the defensive side, they have so many players that have been there for the last 2 or 3 years that should be, and they just aren't all on the same page all the time. Everybody's always getting beat.
Right.
Everybody's looking around trying to figure out why that guy was open in the zone and whose zone is that. And it's crazy, man. I mean, I get it's a complete new coaching staff and stuff like that, but for the most part, this team is the same team that they've been for a couple years. And hopefully it's not a fluke. Hopefully this team is able to get it done and start doing something, because them checks aren't going to get signed if they keep losing, and it's going to stink because a lot of teams are going to get a lot of good players coming up here soon.
Absolutely. And I've not been impressed by Mike McCarthy, and I wasn't impressed by Mike McCarthy his last few years in Green Bay either, but hopefully he can get back to his old form because, of course, he used to be a great coach. But I'm still just seeing what Washington is about and what Philadelphia hasn't done in 2 weeks. And then, of course, the Giants now without Barkley as well is too bad. I'm going to give it to Dallas. I'm just going to say that they still have to be the best team in this division. And I don't think any of the other guys will make the wild card, but I think Dallas will win it.
Yeah, I agree. And that's really just what it comes down to. Who's the team that could get more wins than Dallas, really? You would think the Eagles, but that's not going to happen.
They don't look like it, that's for sure.
And the Washington looks good, but I just don't see.
I think they're a year or two off, but yeah, they look good.
They look really good. It's just they're not going to – in the big games, they're not going to be able to get it done against the big boys. So it's Dallas's all day.
All right. We're moving to the really surprising, at least for me, division, the NFC North. The Chicago Bears are somehow 2-0. We didn't talk really much about after week 1, but they had a crazy comeback against the Lions. Then the Green Bay Packers are 2-0, and they've done it a little bit more convincingly. And then the Vikings and Detroit are both 0-2. And the Vikings, who were a lot of people's pick to win this thing at the beginning and potentially win the NFC, got just clobbered by the Colts. Kirk Cousins put up one of the worst quarterback performances that I've seen in a long time. And you guys know I'm a Kirk Cousins truther. I love him. He was terrible. He took a stupid safety. He threw 3 interceptions. It was just miserable. So what do you have to say about this division? Where do you see it going?
It's gonna be the Lions. Nah, but man,
Could be. I
how
mean,
how
you know how they do their thing.
how about them, man? They just can't seem to finish the game out. But
They're always in it though. Every game, they're going to be in every single game this year.
I would hate to be a Lions fan. But no, the Packers look good. They're a complete team all around. And Aaron Rodgers is damn sure going to show the world that there was no reason for them whatsoever to draft a quarterback in the first round.
Yeah, Rodgers is playing mad. Their defense does need a little bit of work, but it looks like they're rounding in form. It's just that whole preseason thing. It's hard to tell. And I have no faith in Mitch Trubisky and the 2-0 Bears. I really don't. They should have lost to the Lions, and then they beat a crappy team. So I'm giving it to Green Bay as well. We're rolling along. We're agreeing on a lot of these things. So we'll see if we can get something different out of these two tougher divisions coming up. And we'll start with my division, the NFC South. We got the Saints and the Bucks both at 1-1, and then we have Carolina and Atlanta at 0-2. And while I am a complete homer and I love Tom Brady being on the Bucks and giving us a chance, I am not as eager as Seal and Eddie to back my team every single time I get that chance. I think the Saints are going to win the division. And I said it before. I said it when we were in Vegas. I said the only bet I didn't place on the Bucks was to win the division because I don't think they're going to win the division. I think they're going to win the conference, and I think they're going to win the Super Bowl, or at least play the Super Bowl and hopefully win. But I think the New Orleans Saints are the better team. Hopefully for me, as a fan, Michael Thomas will be out a couple more weeks before he comes back, because tonight they did not look as good without Michael Thomas. But when he's there, they've already beaten us once, so they already have that leg up. And I just think the Saints are the better team. So I'm going to give the division to the Saints.
That's crazy, bro. And you guys haven't really been – I mean, Godwin was out, but I don't think it was anything serious, right?
Nah.
Yeah, so, I mean, until you guys kind of get bitten like a lot of the other teams have, you guys look pretty good and are able to kind of get y'all's game. Y'all aren't going to be that throw it through the air 40 times or run it 25 times either. Right. So it's going to be hard either way for these teams in your division who have great defenses to be able to really pinpoint and plan against y'all. And y'all have a lot of weapons. So that's crazy. I mean, I know you're a fan and all, but I got to give it to the Bucs just because of everything that they have and the vets that they have in a lot of their positions, that it's going to be hard for them not to get it together. And even before they do get it together, they'll still be able to string 70-80% of their games into wins.
Hopefully. Well, the last division is the toughest division. I didn't save it for last. It's just at the top of the list here. You got the Cardinals, the Seahawks, and the Rams all at 2-0. And then, of course, the Super Bowl contender from last year, the San Francisco 49ers, are 1-1. Luckily, there's 3 wild card teams, I think, this year, or maybe 4 wild card. I don't really know. There's more wild card teams than normal. But what do you see with the NFC West? You got an amazing Kyler Murray. You got Russell going for MVP. You got an all-around team in the Rams, and then the injury-plagued 49ers.
Yeah. Before the season, you would probably say it was the 49ers. They were in the Super Bowl. They brought back everybody pretty much, and they just have a lot of juggernauts on that team. I mean, their weak point is their quarterback, and it stinks being Jimmy G, but I think Jimmy G's hurt again now too.
He's hurt too. His is only for a couple weeks, though.
Okay. So, I mean, at the end of the day, Russell Wilson is literally throwing to nobody knows. I don't even think
DK Metcalf
know. That's about the only person anybody knows. And shout out to Russell for having 5 touchdowns to 5 different receivers. Yeah. That's absolutely awesome. But I've never heard of any of the guys that he's throwing to besides DK. And they're a great team, great coach, great defense. They shouldn't have got rid of. He's not Teddy Two Gloves, but they shouldn't have got rid of the Shaq twin. But that team, I think that's going to be the Seahawks. There is no Seahawks to lose. The Rams are going to end up screwing it up eventually, and they're just going to keep going on like a well-oiled machine.
Well, I wanted to give it to the Cardinals, but they're just too young. But they look like one of the better teams in the NFC, and I think they're going to get a wild card. But young quarterbacks like that tend to trip up at some point in time, whether it be like a Monday night or something like that. I'm actually going to give it to the Rams because the same reason that you gave it to the Cowboys, well, not the same reason you gave it to the Cowboys, but the same point you made with the Cowboys, they have a lot of money tied up in this team, man, and they have to win. They needed to win last year. They didn't do it. They decided that it was Gurley's problem, and now they've shifted the money around a little bit. They traded a lot for Jalen Ramsey to say, we don't want these picks. We think these picks are going to be late in the draft anyway. And so I think they're going to play with that desperation. And Aaron Donald, what can we say? I mean, sports fans of every sport has this kind of guy. And it's just weird that Aaron Donald plays on defense, but he's like the Mike Trout of football. I mean, he's always there. The LeBron James, where it's like, who's going to be the defensive player of the year? Well, it's always Aaron Donald. If you get tired of voting for Aaron Donald, you can vote for somebody else, but he's always that guy. And no matter whether you double team him, who you put on him, whether you run a bootleg to the other side of the field, he's always there. And I think that wears on people. And the Rams look really good. And Jared Goff, it's not that great, but he continues to do his thing. And if Jimmy G can do it with San Francisco, why can't Jared Goff do it with the Rams? So I'm going to give it to the Rams. And the stadium looks nice too. $5 billion. So crazy. So now we're at the end. We're at shout out time. Do you have any shout outs that you wanted to throw up to anybody? Any sports? I know you had your golfer that you like. Can you even say his name?
Bryson DeChambeau.
Oh, look at you.
Because he's so weird with his putting.
I hate it.
But, I
hate that.
But yeah, shout out Swole, man. He ain't really never done anything golfing before. He showed
That's
up
his first major championship.
40 pounds of muscle more, and now everybody wants to talk about him. And hey, muscle's working. Hopefully it's just muscle, not the old.
Is that illegal in golf?
I have no idea. Hopefully it is. If it is, then he's been tested about 1,000 times, I'm sure.
Well, plus with all the COVID, I mean, he's probably getting tested for everything even more than normal. I want to, of course, shout out. Eddie's going to be mad that it took this long, but UCF Knights, we beat Georgia Tech and went down in the rankings. But it's because the Big Ten decided they wanted to play football again, which is ridiculous. We don't have enough time to go into it, but they're going to start playing in mid-October. And for whatever reason, the coaches poll already put them in the poll. So I think like 4 Big Ten teams are ahead of UCF. So we ended up dropping down. But we won. We won big. That's what matters the most. Dylan Gabriel looked great. He really – and he backs it up in the interviews, which I always like. I know Seal likes that. Some people call it cockiness, but when you're the star player of the team, you have to have that sort of confidence. He came out and doubled down that they're the best team in Florida, even with the Gators being ranked number 5 right now. But he said they asked him about that. They said, do you still think you're the number 1 team in Florida, as you said, like at the end of last year or whatever? And he said, I know exactly what I said, and I meant every word of it, and I stand behind it. And like that's the kind of confidence you need as the captain of the team. So hopefully that doesn't turn into cockiness. Hopefully he uses that on the field as confidence. But man, it looks good. We look good. We're too fast. If there is a thing that I could say that is bad, we are too fast. And we get faster every single year. When we had Scott Frost, we were like, man, we are so fast. There's no way we can go any faster. Then we went a little bit faster, won the national championship. And then we got Heupel and we go, all right, well, he still says he's going to go fast like Frost, but it's going to be a little different. He went faster, and then he doubled down. We're going even fast. It's unbelievable. Teams on the other side are faking injuries just to get a break. It's nuts, man. And I think it's too fast. It ruins our defense. It causes false start penalties, illegal motion penalties, all those things that come with no huddles and with fast stuff. But it's so crazy. But when it works, man. And it works more often than it doesn't, at least so far in our recent history. So shout out to them.
Sure. Good shout out.
Anybody else?
Cowboy and the guy he fought, they had an epic
Oh
post
yeah, Nico,
interview.
whatever. What's his last name? Price, Nico Price.
Yeah, shout them guys out. Cowboy said he's going to take a break. His son called him the morning of the match and told him he was a superhero, and he got really emotional. So he's right after the
Dude,
match.
that was so. I was trying not to cry while they're talking right after
Ball like
fighting.
a little bitch,
Yeah,
dude.
but you're a dad too. I'm not.
Yeah, and then Nico's reaction just to Cowboy saying that he would love to fight him again. Nico just wanted to train with the guy, and then he was like, "Yeah, I'd love to come back and fight you again." And Nico's reaction to that, being like a little kid in a candy store and so giddy. And you got to remember, these guys don't really they're not
And
basketball
they
players.
drew, by the way. Let's set up a thing by that. They ended up tying,
Yeah,
which is nuts. But Nico Price really won the fight, but he poked Cerrone in the eye and lost a point. So they ended up tying, and it was the first tie of Donald Cerrone's career, which is crazy because he's had way too many fights. But
yeah. But this isn't the NBA or the NFL and stuff like these guys don't smoke, they don't get high and stuff like that. But this kid looked like a stone. He was just so oh my god, like he just looked so happy and joyful, and it was really awesome to see just because Cowboy was totally down to fight him again. And it was just cool to see them two talk to each other afterwards and come together and fatherhood and shout out to them guys.
for sure. And then my shout out to go with UFC is actually for this coming up weekend. My shout out is a what to watch because this weekend is huge. There's 2 title fights. One is because John Jones can't get himself together and he lost his belt again. So Dominic Reyes and Jan Blachowicz are gonna go up against each other for the interim belt. But Dominic Reyes thinks he should already have the belt. He believes that he beat John Jones in their last fight, and it definitely was the closest fight that John Jones has ever had in his career to losing, and you could have thought that he lost. So that's going to be a crazy fight. Jan Blachowicz just knocks everyone out. He's really good. And then that's not even the main event. The main event is the champ and undefeated Israel Adesanya against the challenger and undefeated, the eraser, Diego Costa, I think it is. And they don't like each other. They really don't like each other. Last time Adesanya defended his title, he jumped up on the cage and he gave the double birds to Costa in the stands and said, "Come fight me. You're too scared to fight me." So now they're actually going to fight, and it's going to be exciting.
It'll be fun.
It's going to be exciting.
I'm excited. Good shit.
All right. Well, we'll leave the way we said that we were coming in with Kobe, the Mamba. He's watching over. I still don't want the Lakers to win, but he's gonna watch over them, and they seem to have the Mamba mentality. At least AD does. So we'll close the podcast with his words. Once again, the most important thing is to try and inspire people so that they can be great at whatever they want to do. So couldn't have said it better myself, Kobe. So go from here and be a stud, not a scrub.